Right then, a while back I checked out this game, Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety for the PC. And as you know, it is a very difficult game to get running, because this was one of the first Windows 95 games and it does not really run well on my Pentium 2 because the sound card is not exactly the right one. It flickers during the intro screen. I even tried emulating it with VirtualBox and VMware, even contemplated installing Windows 95 in DOSbox, which is very complicated for some reason, so I have found a better solution, and it's called PCem and 86box. Those are two emulators that emulate a complete system, although they do require a little bit of background knowledge on how to set up an old PC, because you have to configure the BIOS, have to install DOS, have to prepare the hard drive. You have to do all the things you would have to do with a real physical PC, except you have to do this in an emulator. So it turns out it is the perfect environment for this game, because with both emulators you can create a system that works exactly the way this game wants it to be. You can set up a 486 with the right specs and it works just a treat. So let's take a look. So first emulator I'm going to try is 86box, and I'm also going to use this Sega pad because I have Joy2Key here, which is a very nice tool for mapping joysticks to keyboard presses. So that's what I'm going to use. So 86box is our first candidate. 86box actually includes ROM files, and that's where it's different from PCem. And as you can see, the virtual Windows 95 486 is booting up. So there you go. And I have here an image file with the right image. That is an image of separation anxiety. And let's start it up. First I'm going to check some settings in the configuration screen. Let's check the MIDI settings. Yes, they are internal. Alright, okay, let's start it. And I'm going to just go very quickly through this because with PCem I will go a little bit more in depth. I'm just showing you that 86box can also be used as an alternative to PCem, because 86box comes apparently with ROM files, and with PCem you have to look for those yourself. Yeah, do a few Google searches in order to find them. I'm not going to tell you where you can exactly find them. I just googled a bit and found a place where you can find the files. Yeah. Alright, as you can see, the game is using OPL. And the loading screens always take a bit of time. And there you go, it runs perfectly fine. Without any emulation issues, it is yeah, as good as it can get, or at least it meets the minimum system requirements. Of course, if you emulate a Pentium 1, it will probably run better. So that was 86box. What about PCem? And with PCem I am going to have a little treat. And the treat involves my iPad, because there's something interesting with this game. It uses general MIDI. PCem has many configuration settings. I have chosen an American Megatrends 486 clone, configuration exactly similar or closely similar to what I had back in the 90s, although in this case I had to choose a Zeng SVGA card instead of a Paradise, because this emulator does not emulate a Paradise card, unlike 86box, which does that, and my computer at the time had a Paradise card. Yeah, that's all the configuration settings that I have. I'd say let's start it. So I switched on my speakers. Yeah, the microphone will pick that up as well, but I need that in order to demonstrate the general MIDI. So let's first go to the iPad. And on the iPad I have this app, and it's called Roland Sound Canvas, and it is kind of like a software version of the MT32. So before we can start the game, we must first go to the configuration screen and choose multimedia and then MIDI, and we're going to choose the external MIDI port. So let's start the game. Do you wish to play Separation Anxiety? Yes. And now let's take a look at what happens here. Loading takes a bit. You see, the MIDI is communicating. Mr. Blinky is blinking and this is playing. And it automatically selects the correct patches as well, because it apparently transfers sysax data. And the cool thing about this emulator is that I can also scale it. So if I want the output scale to be bigger, then that's not a problem. And I think the drums on this general MIDI track are quite decent. And as you can see, the game is playing fine, just as it should. Although the sound effects are a bit loud. But I can actually lower them. For instance, that's the cool thing about PCem, is that you can change those settings. It is much more refined than 86box. So there you have it. That was PCem and 86box, finally being able to play Separation Anxiety properly the way it should. So yeah, those emulators are highly recommended. They are more accurate than DOSbox in some cases, although yeah, DOSbox is generally more convenient, especially if you want to play straight DOS games, although 86box and PCem allow you to work with real disk images and emulate the complete machine, so the experience may also be a bit more authentic and just better. Yeah, I highly recommend it, especially for troublesome games like these. So there you have it, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.